Okay, no hit zone hitting. So, no hit zones, 45 centimeters from the rim. You need to make contact from outside of it, of course. So, the three biggest tips, okay? So number one is, a lot of people when they start, they'll just kind of come up the same, and they'll just kind of swing like this, but all you can really use then is the front of the net. You really need to lean in and lean over, so that when you make contact, and that's why I showed you those videos, I think especially on the first, one of the ones I sent you, you can really see that I'm like over top of the net, and that helps me actually, to be able to reach further and hit the balls in the middle, but then also it just gives me more options, of course. So that's tip number one. Really get in there, lean over, and then make your hits from there. If you're back like we were before, it's just you can't really reach much. So really get in there and allow yourself more options. It'll probably make your back sore the next day, or you're a bit more fit than I am, so maybe it's fine. But if your back's sore, it means you're doing something right. So I see a lot of people still hitting like this. You really have to get in and lean in. That leads to point number two. When you're leaning in and actually leaning in properly, especially when you're coming from anywhere, especially if you're coming from back, and you come up and you lean in, if you didn't do anything after this, you'd actually fall on the net or fall into the no-hit zone, which is obviously no good. So you need to figure out a way to take your momentum so that you avoid the no-hit zone. There's two ways to do that. Number one is lean in, hit, and then you can side shuffle around until you gain your footing and then continue on. That's fine. Or the way I like to do, and I would probably recommend starting with this, it might feel a little weird, but I still recommend starting with this. Come up, hit, lean in, and then instead of shuffling, you just take one step over. Simple as that. Okay, so you're coming in, leaning in, you make your hit, you have to do something with your momentum, step over the no-hit zone and walk out. That's tip number two. Tip number three is before, when we were at the no-hit zone, when we were at the net, if we got like our perfect set, or like the easiest set to be right here, and we'd swing, and the biggest part of the net was coming on about a 90-degree angle, right? If the ball's here, this is where I have the most area to work with. Nice and easy, simple shot. Now with no hit zone, the new easy shot in the big part of the net is now actually on a 45-degree angle. Because if I get the ball here, now this is the big part of the net. So before it was here, running across this way, now before it was here. The reason I mention this is because when you start just to practice like the easy, normal, just meat and potato hit, that's where you're going to want to start. Set yourself kind of in front of your right knee, right knee, and practice hitting across the big part of the net so you have the most available space for yourself, and practice hitting that one. If you come up right away and start hitting this shot, it's a great shot and you should practice it, but at the beginning it's a little bit tricky because you just have so little net to work with. So at the beginning, start with just coming up, boom, and make this your new easy, your new normal, and then we'll start making the pull shots and the pushes, the shots B and C that we'll work on later. When you're starting, when you're practicing, hopefully you get to practice. Nice and simple. Start back, take 2 steps up, come up, give yourself a perfect set, just throw yourself, nice set, boom, make the hit, carry the momentum out, go again. Now, once you get a few of those, you're starting to feel good with the whole hit, lean in, and carry yourself out. Then we'll take it up a step, and then you'll start with the ball in your left hand. You'll throw it to your right, to your left, boom, and then you'll hit and step out. This way, you get some extra touches on your setting, which is really good. And you'll also, it means your set, this one right here, will be a little bit more unpredictable, and therefore it's more like a game, as if you're receiving it from somebody else. So hopefully you get to practice a little bit, even just once or twice a week, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Especially because it's kind of a newer thing, this will make a really big difference. So just remember those 3 tips. Number 1, lean in and make your shots from there. You should be still on top of the net. The only difference is now your shoulders are over and not just your legs. And number 2 is after you lean in, do something with your momentum. I recommend stepping over and walking out. And tip number 3, begin with using the big part of the net, which is now this 45-degree angle here.